Chris, did you update your Discord status appropriately?
Oh, yeah, I definitely did. I set my little microphone picture and said I'm recording a podcast.
I think this is a cool feature that I will barely ever use.
I like it the best when you don't set anything and you play a game and it puts the little icon of the game next to your name.
Oh, like in the voice channel? Yeah, that's nice, but it's always done that like on the members list.
Yeah, but it didn't show the icon of the game. It just showed like a text of like playing World of Warcraft or whatever. Now it shows like the little W.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah, no, I like that. So you know, like when glancing at a voice channel, hey, all those people are actually playing, you know, that game or whatever.
Right. These people are playing this. Those people are playing that. Like if it's just like a hangout channel, which sometimes happens, then you know that like some people are playing and some people are not, assuming they haven't like set their privacy settings.
Or, you know, always appear offline.
Yeah, that's another problem that is annoying.
Not that I know anyone that does that.
Yeah, we may or may not know anyone that just keeps themselves perpetually offline. The only time I do that is when I'm like playing games on my Steam Deck and I want to not be invited to do things because I'm like on the go or like on my Steam Deck. If I'm like hiding, like actively hiding, I'll set myself invisible on Steam, but never on Discord.
The only time I ever do it is when I'm playing at a time that I shouldn't be. Like logging onto WoW at 2 p.m. just to do something, I don't know, in the middle of the day.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Or like running. Sometimes I'll do it like if I'm running. God, what was the game I used to like run in the background? You know, the games you used to like run in the background were like, oh, I'm just going to let this
like an idle game?
Simulate. No, like simulate for a couple hours or something. So I, you know, get a whole year's worth of tax revenue or something.
Oh, yeah. Or Factorio.
Factorio, that's another good one, yeah.
Anyway, the Discord status is, if you haven't seen them, I don't know if it's like a wide rollout or if it's like Nitro only or anything like that. But it allows you to set, just like in like Slack or something, you can set like a little emoji and a text status that shows up in the list and also shows up next to you in a voice channel. I like it.
It's cute. Welcome to Pride and Accomplishment. My name is Jason.
And I'm Chris. This is episode 126. Jason, a long time ago, we talked about how I had done the Kickstarter for Slay the Spire, the board game. Like they made a tabletop game version of the computer game Slay the Spire.
Was that like 18 months ago?
It was a long time ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago. Maybe at least a year. Yeah. But it was supposed to come in the fall and it came in the spring. So only 6 months late. So that's pretty good for a Kickstarter for somebody doing it the first time.
Late. It's okay.
Anyway, I got the shipping. They created the shipping label like a month ago, and then they didn't ship it, which drove me a little bit nuts because I like to track packages in case we all don't remember. But so I had this thing sitting in my UPS thing that was just like, label created, we don't have it, and I was like, and there's nothing you can do about that. But finally, it started moving, and then it came in like a day, and this thing came in a gigantic box. Like it was huge. The sizing of the outer box was big. And then I opened it and I was like, oh, there's probably a lot of packing in there. But no, the inner box is humongous. Think about like, I don't know if you've played the game Wingspan, but like that game box size, which is like a standard square, you know, board game box. It's the size of two of those on top of each other as one box.
That's not as big as I was thinking.
Yeah, but like it's bigger than
like
a shoebox.
You described this as like a box that would barely fit on a table.
Okay, well, the box does fit on a table.
So you're saying it was like 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet? Was that like how big it was, or
that was what the shipping box
like
was? It's probably 18 inches cubed. Yeah, 18 to 2 feet cubed. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, but it's a board game. So why? What? Why?
What do you mean? Why is
Isn't
it big?
Just a flat like thing you lay out on a table that's all folded up? Like, yeah, why is it so big?
The best part about it is it's not even a board. Like you would think like I'm talking about how it being a big board, but it's not even a traditional board. It's like a bunch of little boards and a bunch of little like mats and like play surfaces, and like you're going to need like spaces to put out like the shop and like the bank and the whatever. Like I think it's going to take up my entire dining room table just to play this game. I was going
to say, do you need like an entire room to play this game?
No. I think it'll fit. I think it'll fit on a table, but it's going to be tight. The other interesting thing about it is that it comes like one of the little inserts, right? There's like the rule book, which is fairly substantial. And then like some other reference thing that's also, you know, a little bit smaller. And then there's like this laminated sheet that says storage instructions. And it has like a picture of all of the stuff in the box and like advice on how to pause the game and put it all away so that you can retain it and put it all back together when you go to play it again.
Are you ever going to play this game? It sounds like such a hassle.
I'm really looking forward to playing this game. It does have like a solitaire mode, like you can play one player, but I'm waiting to play it with friends because I'm not sure I'll play it more than once.
Does it say like how many hours it's going to take?
It says 60 to 90 minutes for each act, but and there are up to 4 acts if you want, but you can finish the game at any act ending. But they say to leave more time the first time you play, obviously.
Okay, I mean, that's reasonable for a board game. 60 to 90 minutes per act.
I think this is like an afternoon game. Like it's like you know, start at 2:00 and like finish at dinner time is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a time investment.
Yeah, it is. And I'm, like I said before, really a little bit concerned that it is not going to play well on a table as compared to playing it on the computer, because the computer can do the math for you. The computer can shuffle the deck for you. The computer can there's a lot of things that the computer can do very quickly that if I have to do them by hand with physical things are going to be maybe a little challenging, but I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I would like to try it before I judge it too hard.
Is it supposed to be like almost a direct copy of Slay the Spire, or is it, because like typically when you're designing a board game, you think about those certain things. Like every shuffle of the deck is, you know, cumbersome, and you try to avoid them unless you need to do it.
Well, I mean, Slay the Spire is a deck builder, so shuffling is kind of part of the deal. But like, there's other deck builder physical games like Dominion that do that, and it's okay. The more interesting thing is going to be like you have an enemy that has a minion summon, and it's like, okay, go to the minion deck and fish that particular minion out of the minion deck and put it next to this enemy. It's like, okay, I mean, all right, I can do that. Maybe it won't take that long. Maybe I can sort the minion deck or something. I don't know. But like,
are you sure that's a thing?
Oh, it
like,
totally is.
Okay, because like something like that, I'd be like, okay, well that thing just doesn't exist in the board game.
No, in the computer game, the minions just appear. But in the board game, the way that they make the minions work is by saying the minion deck has all the minions in it, and go pick one.
Oof. Okay.
So,
all right. Do you have an afternoon planned to play this game?
I don't currently, because my next couple weekends are pretty booked. But I am looking forward to roping some friends into playing it at some point in the near future.
Yeah, you're gonna have to buy them pizza or something.
Oh yeah, well there will be. Yeah, we'll have to provide food and drink to like entice them to come over. But it also came with, because I got the collector's edition, it came with the like desk mat little mats that you put in front of each person. So like they have these little like mouse pad style little mats that they play on, and like they're all it's very nice. And I got the metal coins for the shop. Like it's very fancy. But it's a lot.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Some things are just better as video games, and you can let me know when you're done playing it whether that applies in this situation or not. But I'm interested to see if you complete even one game. I'd be very interested to know whether that even happens.
I will at least play one game. I'm just so
skeptical
as the one player option. But I think we will get through one act, like one session with people. I think we can do it.
Certainly one act. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like they've put everything from the original game. I mean, they have a couple of sealed decks that say like, do not open until you reach Act 4, or like, do not open until you reach Ascension 8 or something. Like they have some kind of ascension system, which is like where like the roguelike thing where it gets harder as you go. Like I think they have taken most of the elements of the actual game, like the video game, and put them into this board game.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it again. Some things are better as video games, and I hope I have high hopes and low expectations for you, to bring back an old P&A phrase.
Well, I've got some pizza with your name on it if you want to come play.
We'll see. Back in the digital world, Chris and I have been hard at work with World of Warcraft Season 4, as we kind of talked about last episode. As we're recording this, it's a little bit of a weird schedule, but we are just completing our week 1. I just opened my vault after week 1 of Season 4, and I'm fairly happy. This is actually good kind of follow-up, because last time I said, hey, I'm really struggling to play at the end of Season 3 because I have to work so hard to get my gear caught up. And I will say, like, now that I am playing Season 4, like, I was right. And the progression is very fast for me at the start of Season 4, just because I wouldn't say so far behind, I was slightly behind. So, like, we talked about some of the scaling that's happening in Season 4, and I will say I've benefited from a lot of that. And it kept at least week 1. We'll see how long it lasts. It kept, my first 10, 15 hours, whatever I played last week, very interesting, because I was kind of constantly getting something worth something to me as I was playing, which, kind of tends to keep that, like, sense of accomplishment up, like, really high if you're constantly getting a small improvement. Whereas I think, as you get later into the seasons, maybe that doesn't happen as frequently. So it was a good first week for me.
Yeah, I didn't get as much time to play as I think you did, but I really enjoyed what I did get a chance to do. The squish for the dungeons is excellent. Like, it was a really good switch from the, like, just blow past the first 10 dungeon mythic levels, like, and now it's like, hey, let's do a 2. Ooh, do you think we can push a 3? Like,
yeah. It's crazy.
It's
3s
really
are
different.
So much harder. 2s are hard. Like, 2s were hard. Like, I did at least 8 dungeons last week, for my full vault reward. There were, like, I think I did 4 or 5 plus 3s, and I didn't time 3 of them.
Wow. Yeah. I think I was there for 2 of those.
So yeah, they're hard. I like that though. Like, I think they're a little hard though, because I was a little under level. I don't know if you didn't get to play as much last week, but I think I'm now maybe caught up to your eye level. Like, I'm now 483, which is where you started.
That's where I started this season. I think I'm now almost 490.
Yeah.
I did have a chance to do the raiding last week. So they're doing this Awakened raiding thing where they have all 3 of the raids from the previous the previous seasons are active on a rolling weekly schedule. I think it's every 1 week. And so I got to go back to the Vault of the Incarnates, which was the first raid that we talked about with Dragonflight like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. It was so fun to go back into those things, and like, it was kind of like an old friend, right? You've got like the familiar fights and the familiar mechanics, and you're like, oh, I remember this thing. Oh, I remember that thing. I remember how we did this. And everybody's kind of like settling back into that like clockwork, and the content is hard enough, but it's still just a mechanics driven thing. Like, as long as you have the DPS to kind of get through what you need to do. But like, I was able to do all 8 bosses, however many bosses there were. I did them all last week on normal, but I have not pushed to heroic yet. And that was like a super fun, like, remembrance of doing that raid.
Yeah. And normal was relatively challenging, and heroic, I've heard, is decently challenging. Like, it's not a cakewalk.
The challenge there, I think, the problem, it's not challenge in the sense of gameplay, but the problem is that there is no AOTC for this season, right? There's no, because these are all old raids, there's nothing to be ahead of the curve for. So it's harder to, like, you're pushing heroic almost strictly for a sense of pride and accomplishment here. Like, you're not, and achievements, I guess, if you didn't get them before, but.
And gear.
And gear, I mean, sure, gear, but like, you're not as like, oh man, I need to get AOTC. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I want to finish heroic because it's a challenge, but you won't. I don't know what you'll have to show for it at the end, because to get the seasonal reward, you just have to do normal or better on all 3 raids. You have to do all the bosses in all the raids on normal or better for the whole season to get like this really cool looking green dragon lizard mount thing.
I mean, all AOTC is an achievement, so like, what's the difference?
Yeah, fine. You're right. But it just like you don't get anything better for being heroic, I'm pretty sure.
No, you don't get anything better for getting AOTC last season.
But I do. I can, I get a title or something. I don't know. I get something.
Yeah, you can say you're better than me. I get it. I got that. But like,
yeah,
whatever.
See, thank you. Read between those lines.
No, yeah, no, I get that. But I think people will still push. I would love if we're already kind of pushing heroic on the first week. I know a couple people are kind of pushing heroic. You and I didn't, but I know a couple other people that are. Does that mean we get into Mythic a little bit? Does that mean we get to go visit these bosses in Mythic? And I think that would be fun towards the end of this season, just to see what, like, because I'm not going to do that like regularly.
Sure.
But
yeah,
it might be nice to do that this time.
Especially when
we have to find a group, though. We have to find a group to do it with.
That's true.
And maybe it'll be perfect tryouts for us to raid with whatever group we find in the War Within.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
In between the wowing and the board gaming and the Discord statusing and the working.
Yeah, we have jobs too, like day jobs.
Yeah. I and we have decided that we should watch the Fallout TV show.
Yes, we have.
I have heard, up until this point, I have heard so much positive review of the show. And I want to start this conversation by kind of reminding everyone that I am not a Fallout player. I have never played a Fallout game, nor have I ever really been interested in playing a Fallout game. It just doesn't, the style just doesn't get me. The story does, like the premise kind of does, but it's just never drawn me in. And that's my basis of kind of my, establishment in the Fallout, lore and world. But I was still interested in watching the TV show, mostly because of all of the hype, but also because, again, at its premise, I like it and I understand it. And instead of playing a game, watching a TV show was intriguing to me.
You know what they say, war never changes. I have a little bit of a better history with Fallout than Jason. I played Fallout 3 and got all the way to the end of it on the PS3 a long time ago. I have not really played Fallout 4 or New Vegas. And we tried Fallout 76 for about 10 seconds, I think. But that was a buggy mess when it came out, even though it was on Game Pass. And I haven't gone back, even though I've heard that they have actually added NPCs with voice lines and like really tried to improve it. That's Fallout 76 is the one with the online, it's like where they tried to make like a pseudo MMO survival crafting thing, to middling success, but they're still, putting effort into it. So, good for them, I guess. But I actually like the Fallout like concept because it does the whole retro future thing, and it's got the whole like what if the kind of mid-century 50s 60s kind of technology kind of progressed further into modern day and then some, and then you had World War III happen. So that's kind of the premise of the Fallout as an idea. Now I want to set the stage for us. We are, I think, at least last I talked to Jason, we are on episode 3, like finished episode 3 of the Fallout TV show. And there are 8 episodes.
I will say I watched 3 episodes and I texted Chris and I said, I've watched 3. Should I stop?
Yeah. And
he said, yeah, I'm only going to be able to watch 3 before we record. So we're in the same place, but I will say it has taken everything I have not to watch more.
It's funny that you say that because I had a similar thought yesterday as I was watching episode 3. I was like, ooh, I want to go to episode 4 and I probably should have just told Jason to do that. But like, I don't know that it was late and I didn't really have time to watch it, to fully appreciate it. So I did not watch episode 4, but I will say at the end of 3, I really did want to go on to 4.
Yeah, and maybe that's where we can start. Is I've heard great reviews of it. First 3 episodes, I'm in. I think it's very good. I would recommend it to both Fallout fans and to non-Fallout fans. Just the oh man, and we're gonna try to stay away from spoilers here as much as we can. We only have the first 3 episodes to spoil, if anything, but even that we'll try to stay away from saying anything. But I will say from like the tone and like the juxtaposition of like the like super tongue-in-cheek kind of humor of the Fallout series plus the super grim like end of the world dystopia like what people like what the world has devolved to. Oh man, it's just it's hitting the mark for me.
Yeah, I'm in. I mean, I was in before we started. I was like, I'm going to watch this whole series because I do like Fallout as much as I do. But I will say after the first episode, I was a little bit concerned about the level of, the human condition or like the base, the devolving, de-evolution, I don't know, the collapse of society essentially that happens, outside of the vaults. And I was like, can I deal? Like, am I willing to kind of watch this with all of the like extremely gray area kinds of morals and things, and like it's people being surviving, right? And they're I mean, it's all a little bit exaggerated for TV, but also there's a lot of I don't know, there was a lot of violence and a lot of like people not being nice to each other, right? Which is fine, that creates conflict, that creates story, that creates interest, but like it was grim.
Yeah, it's grim. I will give you that. It's grim and it is violent, and I mean that's what the Fallout story is.
It is.
But I was not expecting them to show it in such a almost serious matter, like in such a serious manner where like you're just like, oh yeah, that's
mm-hmm.
That's sad. That's sad, and I feel something right now, and I didn't expect that going into this.
Right. This is not a feeling show. Like, this is supposed to be a fun video gamey show. Like,
but to that point, like, it does the other side really well too. Like, it does the funny humor, like keep it light, and how it does that so far with the like. At the same, usually not at the same time, but like, at different points throughout the show, there are really, really high highs and funny and like, good feelings. And then there are really low, like grim, dark, like really mature, like themes. And that, I mean, it's just doing such a good job of both of them that I'm really impressed.
Yeah, they are really knocking it out of the park, I think. I also really appreciate the world building that they're doing and like the faithfulness that they have to these games and to the world. I was talking to somebody earlier today and we were talking about the show, and they told me that the set designers actually got the 3D models from the game designers for the vaults. So
that's cool.
They designed the set to be like the game vaults, which is why it feels so familiar if you're familiar with the games. So that was really neat.
Yeah, that's cool. It's been some of the other feedback that I've heard is again, I haven't played the game, so I don't have that kind of connection. But at least from what I've seen and heard, it's very faithful, and it seems to be faithful in such a way that it's how do I want to say this? Like not distracting. Like they're not conforming to things from the video games. And it's pulling you out of the story. It's just like, oh yeah, that's exactly how I expect it to be. That is exactly in line. But if like I don't know the video games, like I'm not noticing that or like being pulled away. It's not like imagine like I don't know, like a Mario game, right? Where it's like they take all of the focus and they're just like, hey, look at this. He can I don't know. It doesn't make any sense for the story at all, but he can now, I don't know, throw fireballs or something. I don't like. It's not like they're not forcing your attention to those kinds of details, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But they're there and they are like in line with the story and the TV show.
Yeah, and they don't do a lot of like really, I don't know, wink at the camera kinds of things either. They're not like lingering to try to show you Easter eggs. They're just kind of like there if you catch them, and they're, if you don't, they're gone. Which I like, because you don't get that you don't get that feeling where you're like, the camera spent 6 seconds looking at this seemingly insignificant thing. Do I need to go Google that? Like, and that's not what you get with the show.
I will have this show finished in like 4 days.
Yeah, and now that you're off the leash for, we've talked about it a little bit, like you're just going to go finish it.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it's going to be. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I highly recommend it. There are some mysteries that I am dying to figure out what the answers are. And I'm ready to see the end. I've heard people talk about a season 2. I don't know where that leads. But I would be interested in, like, are they going to do a season 2? Like, cause this is one of those things, right, where they could do a season 2. And I don't know if any of this is announced. This is all speculation at this point. Like, the whole thing of Fallout is there are many different vaults, right? And there were many different things going on in many different vaults. Like, do they do a season 2 with the same characters, or do they like start over with another vault? Like that. Oh man, that would be such a cool, like seasonal kind of storyline.
Well, yeah. And then you could have like little crossovers, and like you could, have them like meet out in the wasteland or something or whatever. Yeah. There's the possibilities are endless. I will ask you, I know you're not a trailer guy, but did you watch the trailer at the end of the first episode?
Yes and no. I think I let it play because it was going to the next episode, but I didn't really closely pay attention.
Okay. Because I saw some stuff in there that I'm super interested to see what they do in the world building sense, and things that I'm pretty sure that we've never seen in the Fallout games. I really liked, and again, no spoilers, but like they started to do a little bit of flashbacking. I mean, the whole show starts with essentially a flashback. But like, I really like that they're kind of doing some of the like pre-Fallout world building in addition to the
We've never seen that, right?
Right. It's because you wake up in the wasteland basically. And the games never have like cutscenes from before. They have, audio logs or whatever, but they don't have like a fully acted cutscenes.
No, I really liked that. I mean, that was talk about grim, right? Like talk about like some of the downest moments of the show. Like, oh yeah, leading up to the Fallout universe, like what, the big event that, I mean, it's Fallout, like leading up to like the bombs exploding, right? Like, oh man, that was, oh God, my heart, it was tension. So good. It was so well done. Yeah. No, they've done a good job. I'm gonna broaden the conversation maybe just for a couple minutes. Do you like Fallout is the latest in video game adaptations?
Yes.
Do you believe the world is getting better at them, and why do you think that?
So you're assuming that I do think that they're getting better, and then why do I think that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're getting better. Why?
Okay. I see. I think,
unless you disagree. I mean, do you disagree with me?
I do not disagree. Obviously they're getting better. So like some of the ones we've seen recently, right, are The Last of Us, which I did not watch or haven't yet watched. The Sonic movies I would put in there. And I know that the Knuckles series has come out and I have not seen it yet. And I'm actually kind of interested to see what they do with it, even though I think it got a pretty terrible review score. The Super Mario Brothers movie last year was huge. A couple years before that, they had the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland for some reason.
Which wasn't terrible.
Which I actually enjoyed. Like, it was actually a really good, substitute for Indiana Jones, if that's what you're looking for. Like, it was actually quite good. I know it got a lot of heat, but I actually did like it. People didn't, but I did. I'm trying to think what else they have.
The Gran Turismo movie?
Oh, yeah, Gran Turismo. I watched that. Yep, I watched that on a plane. It was good.
It was fine.
I think it was fine. That's true. It was... For a movie about a game that doesn't have a story, it was a good movie about that kind of thing. But to go back to the... I
mean, I don't know if it was any good. You had the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. You had... I don't know. Does Detective Pikachu count? Like,
yeah, I would say.
The Warcraft movie in 2016 was really lowly rated, but I actually kind of liked it.
I never saw that one.
But it meh.
Yeah, anyway, there's a lot of them. Actually, it is not out yet, but they're coming out with a God of War TV show. Amazon is working on one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only bad one that I can... Like, the only, like, truly bad one that I know of recently, and maybe there are others, but the only one I can think of right now is the Halo TV show.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess, okay, so I'll go back to my, all of these are coming out. Most of them are good. They used to be the butt of the jokes, right? They used to be terrible. They used to be bad movies or bad TV shows or bad, whatever it was. And it was just a bad idea to adapt a video game into another media. That's clearly changed. I think just at the premise, that's clearly changed. Why? I have a theory, but why do you think that?
My idea for that is that the medium of video games has become much more mainstream in a storytelling way than it used to be. And I think you're getting maybe even some crossover between game writers and screenwriters. And the cinematics in video games have become more like TV shows anyway. So it's not that far of a hop.
I think that, it's not as far as a hop. I agree that you're getting some crossover in writers. I think it's bigger than that, though. I think you're starting to get crossovers, maybe not so much in people that do both, but like you're starting to get directors that grew up with games, that played games as a kid, that understand what the storytelling of a video game is. And you can't tell the story in the same way in a movie or a TV show, but you can tell a story, right? And I feel like we're getting a lot more now. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like we're getting a lot more now where the adaptations are saying, hey, that's a really cool world. That's a really cool like game. That's a really good world building. We're not going to tell the same story. Mario is a little different. Mario's whatever. It's the same story in every video game. So they just told the same story in the movie. But like this Fallout story is not one that's told in the games, and they're telling it differently. It's a different story, and they're doing it in the right way of a TV show. But I bet half the people, maybe not half, but I bet a large portion of the people that are working on the Fallout TV show or worked on the Fallout TV show potentially played Fallout.
Yeah.
Which, to your point of it being more mainstream, I just think that is, it's all, it used to be books. It used to be, we're going to turn books into movies. And I mean, it still is. It's still kind of a thing. But like video games are maybe that's not true, but video games are encroaching on being as mainstream as books, right? It's really growing as an industry. And that's leading to more people having experiences with those stories. Right.
Yeah. And I don't want to like steer us in a direction of another podcast that we listen to, but there have been conversations on the shift has happened now from not what do I watch, but what do I do when I come home from work and want to, chill out or whatever. It's not like,
true.
Oh, I'm going to turn on the TV and flip to whatever channel and then watch whatever's there. It's like, I'm going to actively choose that I'm going to open up the Netflix app or open up the Amazon Prime app or open up the PlayStation or sit down on my computer or, there's so many things, or sit down and read a book. There's so many things that are like competing for attention that all of these things are becoming more higher production value, more mainstream. They're all fighting for eyeballs and attention. So it's a shift. It's not just, so all of that is spreading around a little bit, I think, is really the key, and cross-pollinating. Gamers are no longer niche like, people that go to Comic-Con. Like they're everybody.
Yeah. I'm here for it. I'm all here for it. I think this, so far this Fallout TV show has been excellent. I hope there is more stuff. I hope the God of War is TV show whenever it comes is going to be as good as this. I think there's potential there. What a great premise and a great story and a great however they do it, right? Like, oh man, I'm here for it. I'm so ready for it.
Yeah, I think they'll do a good job with the God of War. At least I hope so. They have such good material to go with. As long as they don't make it like terrible and cheesy, I think they've got a chance.
Yeah, tell another story. At this point, that's the difference between God of War 5 and God of War 4 is they're just telling another story. It's a little later in the timeline. They're telling another story. Do the same thing with the TV show. I'm fine. And people know that you have to tell the story a little differently if it's a TV show versus a video game, but like they're getting good at it. And it's an exciting time to see I don't know, a hobby that you and I have had for such a long time now become so mainstream and start to get this mainstream attention and start to get this branching out of media based on things that we grew up with. So I'm it's an exciting time. I don't have a call to action. I don't know. Let me know if we missed something. Video game. Tell me the worst. Is Halo the worst one? Because I don't know. Whatever. Call to action. Get in contact with us. Join our Discord by going to discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to find our show notes or any of our older episodes, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we'd love if you could share it with some others that might enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. When you were watching the Fallout show, do you have like the Amazon Prime Video with ads thing that they shoved everybody into recently?
My answer is going to surprise you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I went into this looking, like I went to Amazon.com looking on how to sign up for the ad-free like upcharge or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Couldn't find it. I said, okay, whatever. I will go play the video, the show, and if the ads come up, maybe there'll be an advertisement to say don't want to see ads, like whatever. And nothing like that came up. It played a 20-second ad at the top of the show and then played the show. And I was like, I could deal with that. Like, yeah. That's fine. Like a 20-second ad at the top of the show. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
So I've let it run. I've still got it. I still got the ads.
Is it doing that on every episode?
You know what? I don't think so. I don't remember the ad being there when I clicked next episode.
Okay. And you watched all 3 episodes in one sitting, though?
No, I watched the first one, and then I watched the second 2 in one sitting. So okay. I clicked to next episode, from episode 2 to 3, and I don't remember there being an ad at the start of episode 3.
Okay. Because
I immediately clicked the skip recap button.
Yep.
So maybe it's only playing when I first launch the show.
I
don't know.
Interesting.
They haven't bothered me. It's been like, in my mind, it's been very tasteful, and the ads are decent. Like they're targeted at me, which I don't know about you, but I actually like targeted ads if they're actually relevant to me. Like I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't need that, but that's kind of cool. So like I'm okay with it. Like as long as it's not the mid rolls are the ones that get me. Like I can't like mid roll TV show ads. Like no, I'm out. I'm done.
Oh yeah.
But beginning ads, like pre roll ads, I'm okay with.
Yeah, I spent some time at a family member's house recently, and they had Hulu with ads, and I about went insane. Like,
no, you can't. How do you? No, you can't. Like, I'm sorry. Like this. It's interrupting the show. Like, no.
Well, not only is it interrupting the show, but it also, good and bad, gives you the little countdown in the corner, or like the how many ads there are and all of this, and they're like, wait a minute, 145 seconds, that's a lot of time. Like, I'm going to be sitting here watching ads of household goods and other such things. Like,
the Hulu ads are bad.
They are.
They're long.
They are. And then when they have, they don't have time they don't have ad inventory to show you. They show you ads, like just like Hulu logos. It's like, you could just like skip this slot. Like you don't have anything to show me. Like just skip it.
Wait, they just show you a straight up Hulu logo?
Well, they have like, it's kind of like how Nickelodeon used to do back in the day, where they would just have like the little Nickelodeon song and like the Nickelodeon logo, like, with an animation. So like, it's not like just the Hulu logo, but like, it is like a thing where, like,
but they're filling the airtime.
This is 10 extra seconds of this little bumper that I did not need on my Hulu experience as I continue to watch whatever channel of Hulu it was on.
That's ridiculous. No.
I know. So I had that experience, and I was expecting that coming into this Amazon experience after, they're
Me
like,
too.
oh, they're putting ads onto Prime. And I think the Fallout show is cut with fade to blacks for commercials. Like, I think it does go to black between scenes sometimes, like you would for, inserting a commercial. But I haven't had any mid-roll ads, but my watching experience was first episode on PC, and I got a pre-roll ad for Samsung phones, I think, and it said like this thing
I got
is
it
presented
for a Samsung tablet,
ad free for Samsung. Yeah, maybe it's tablets. I don't know. Samsung.
Yeah,
something.
and they said, they said this show is presented ad free, or this show, the rest of the show will be ad free,
courtesy
because of Samsung
or whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
And I was like, all right, fine. Samsung paid some money. They did that thing. That looks great. I'm okay with that. That was fine. I didn't realize it applied to the rest of the run of the show. And maybe that wasn't the intention. But I assumed it was like this episode is ad free because of Samsung or whatever. But then the other 2 episodes I watched on the Apple TV set-top box, like my Apple TV box. And so I was wondering if the reason that I didn't see any pre-roll or mid-roll ads was because maybe the Apple TV app for Prime Video wasn't sufficiently updated to show ads or something. Like I wasn't sure if I was lucky because of that. But you would have watched on PC.
I don't know.
So.
I mean, I have a Chime. What do they call that? Like a TV? Like I've got the Amazon TV,
Fire,
whatever.
The Fire TV.
Fire. Yeah, it's a Fire TV. Thank you. So like it's doing whatever Amazon tells it. I'm sure it's listening to whatever. Who cares? But no, I got a pre-roll ad on the first episode and the second episode. I don't remember it on the third, but it might have played. Who knows? So I mean, that's how I interpreted that message from Samsung as well, was this episode is ad free because, Samsung, blah, blah, blah. And again, even if it is every episode, a 20-second, ad at the beginning of the episode is fine.
Well, especially because I watch approximately 1 show a year on Amazon. So it's not worth $3 a month to get rid of those 20-second ads.
I was going to do $3 for 1 month. That's what I was going to do. Like if there were mid-roll ads, I'd have done it in a second. Like there's I would not have made it. I would have not made it through 1 episode without subscribing to the ad-free version.
If
it had mid-roll ads.
Oh no, me either. I would have. Yeah. This is good though, because there are a couple of Amazon shows that I haven't watched and I was planning to really like binge through before the change, and this gives me some hope that maybe I can go back and watch them.
I might try. I don't know that all the other shows are going to be that good though.
Probably not. I mean, Reacher, right? I watched season 1 of that. Reacher has a season 2.
Same.
Maybe a season 3.
I want to watch it.
I don't know. Whatever the latest season is, and I think it's last season, is on Prime Video. And then Upload season 3 is out.
Oh, I think I watched that before the change.
Oh, okay. I didn't get a chance to see it before.
It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, no mid-roll ads. This episode of P&A is ad-free, brought to you by Chris and I's wallet.